Happy Friday, everybody. Today is August 6, 2021, and this is your Friday planning video. I hope everyone had a great week and is ready for the weekend. Before you go, I have a couple of things I wanted to touch on in the planning side. Now, remember, there's a lot going on in the market, and there's a lot going on our Monday market videos. So if you're interested in a bit of the details about what's going on in the market, as we continue to hit new highs in the market, even though we're getting the Delta variant and we're seeing all these new measures going in to protect us locally, nationally, internationally. This is something that you can check out that video and you'll see what's going on in the markets, in the nitty gritty in the markets. So as we go, many of you are in the same boat as I am, about to send your first child away, whether it be to college. In my case, it's actually for the first gap year of learning abroad. I'm sure I'm not going to go to the emotional side. I'm sure everyone's seen enough of the emotion from our medal winners and in Tokyo as they go on the podium. But just from a standpoint, I want to give you a couple of financial comments on that. So it's a time of year we start thinking about what? Paying the tuition bills. So in many cases, how to provide. Also, we want to talk about how to provide the most recent kind of distance learnings that we're going to be dealing with. Now, I'm not talking about Zoom. I'm talking about teaching our kids on how to handle their money when they're away from us. So I just wanted to touch a couple of these points. So before I get into the food and drink budget, which is one of those things that we want to talk about, but let's talk about tuition again. Recall that we've spoken about 529 college savings plans. We talked about them back in May of this year. There's actually still a replay available from the 15-minute coffee chat that we did in May of 2020. It's available on our YouTube channel. If you want a link to that, let us know. Rebecca will send you that. Just let Rebecca know, and she'll send you the link to that. 529 plans are usually a great way to pay for post-secondary education. In many states, you can use them for K through 12 as well. If you haven't started yet, many states are going to give you tax incentives to actually make contributions to those plans. So make sure you talk to your tax advisor about that. See if it makes sense for you to do that. Even at a late time, right before you start paying those bills, sometimes it makes sense for you to do that. Now remember, if you're interested in that, let me know. Every state has their own plan. Some states have more than one plan. So let me know. We can talk about how to work through that. I'm a huge advocate of using 529 plans in the right place. So as far as that food and drink budget, let's talk about that. If you're like me, budgeting in the age of smartphones and Amazon and online shopping, it's nothing new. We've been doing it for a long time. So, but as your children go away, of course, we know, what do they find out? They find out that all of a sudden, all these things that were magically paid for before, they're not paid for anymore. What about parking tickets? And what about that meal plan at school? So these are things that they didn't even think about before. Now all of a sudden, how are they going to pay for? So the biggest suggestion I have for you is the most simple suggestion. Number one, give them clear expectations, and number two, give them a clear and open line of communication with you about this. So I think if you handle both of those two things, you keep those two things in place, you should be able to work through this part of the distance learning. Good luck. The other topic I want to touch on real quickly is a follow-up to last week's video. We talked about orphaned 401ks. So this week, just a few notes of interest. Once again, Congress is talking about making changes to allow those that are now over 62 years old to make even larger catch-up contributions. We know that you can get catch-up contributions into your 401ks and IRAs at age 50. Now they're talking about even bigger ones at age 62. They're talking about $10,000 a year. The catch on this is that we'll have to be after tax. So like a Roth contribution, you put the money in after tax, no upfront tax benefit for you, but the money comes out tax-free at the end. So can't say that that's all bad. We'll have to see what Congress does. But remember, catching up, which is what they're talking about, is not as good as keeping up. So this is that time of year as we move towards the third and fourth quarter of the year that we want to talk about maximizing your 401k contributions, maximizing your IRA contributions, if that's right for you. We talk about this over and over again in the videos for a while. So, but this is, remember, it's a huge, very, very important part of your savings plan. So we get deeper in the year. Some of you may need to start talking about your required minimum distributions, taking your money out of your IRAs and your 401ks. So let's talk about those. Now remember, there's no law that says you have to spend that money. You may, more likely than not, have to pay taxes on that money, but you can get that money out, possibly put it in using qualified charitable distributions, as we've talked about before. Or you can also, remember, you can just move that money. You have to take it out of your plan, potentially pay taxes on it, move it into your investment account, and just continue to have that money work for you in the same way your money worked for you in the other plans. So let's talk about that as we get deeper into the year. Let's talk about if that works for you. That's all I have for you today. Lots more coming back in the next few weeks. Next week the video should be shot on location, back where all the videos started, back in South Carolina. So watch for Monday's market update video. Next week gets a little bit quieter on the labor side, but never a dull moment in these markets. I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about. So if you're in the Chicago area, check out the Voice of Chicago magazine. They have a brand new finance contributor. That's yours truly. A monthly column, another way to get some information. You can also see these videos on my LinkedIn page, my Twitter feed, or on YouTube as well. So if there's something you'd like to see covered in these videos, please let me know. Just shoot me a quick email. Love to talk to you. Otherwise, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.